communication. My core philosophy on winning and motivation is summed up by saying that you were born to win. But in order to be the winner you were born to be, you have to plan to win and prepare to win before you can expect to win. The playing field of life is not level, and for you to compete in the game of life, you need an equalizer of some kind. In the Old West, the equalizer was the six-shooter. It enabled the little guy to chop a bigger man down to size. Desire is also an equalizer, and nowadays is highly encouraged over a six-shooter. Desire creates an edge. Desire produces the energy to get out of bed when you don't feel like it. Desire gives you the power to run the last 100 yards of a marathon when you think even one more step is impossible. Desire gives you the will to do the tough things your competition may not be willing to do. Desire is the mother of motivation because it is where motivation is born. Desire will pull you across the finish line and give you victory. There are two questions you might ask at this point. How is desire created, and what does it have to do with planning to win? Since I'm here to help you with the hard ones, I'm going to answer both of those questions in this chapter. Desire is born with vision. To understand how desire connects with planning, you have to understand how desire is created. Desire is created when something happens in your life that suddenly changes the way you see yourself in relationship to your future. We all have moments in our lives that are turning points, crossroads, where something happens that can shape the direction of our future. Some of these turning points can be dramatic, and others may be subtle. But I want to encourage you to be looking for these turning points and seeking out your purpose and passion as you engage in the planning, preparing, and expecting to win process. I vividly remember the exact day when one of these turning points happened in my professional life. I was one of 12 children raised by a single widowed mother in Yazoo City, Mississippi during the Great Depression. We struggled and worked hard to make ends meet, and although we never had a lot of extra things, we always had what we needed. When I was a young boy, I worked around our little home doing chores, and when I was 9, I got a job at a grocery store in town. At that point in my life, I saw myself as a little guy from a little town who would always live in Yazoo City. That type of thinking was the result of my experience growing up. I had no idea that other possibilities might exist for me. I entertained the idea of owning my own store, or meat market to be exact, but I never really felt over-the-top excited about it. I wasn't excited about it because it was not my vision. It was just an idea that was presented to me by my boss as a possibility. You might say I was a wandering generality instead of a meaningful specific. I was wandering around with no direction and no plan to win. After I grew up and married my beautiful redhead, Jean Abernathy, who I call Sugar Baby, I got a job as a door-to-door salesman in the cookware industry. The first 2.5 years, I sold a lot. I sold our furniture, our china, and Silver, the dog. Just kidding. But it was no joking matter that we struggled financially, and we were in hot water all the time. One cold, snowy morning, I went to a meeting where Mr. P.C. Merrill, the divisional supervisor from Tennessee, took an interest in me. Mr. Merrill said, "Zig, you have the ability to be a great one." Frankly, I'd never heard words like that. As a child raised during the Depression, the emphasis was on survival, not being great. Now, here was a man for whom I had the utmost respect, a man who was my hero, a man of integrity, and he was emphatic that he really believed I could be the best cookware salesman in the country. But he also had some constructive criticism. He said, "You know, Zig, I've been watching you for 2.5 years, and I have never seen such a waste." Now, friends, that will get your attention. Somewhat startled, I asked what he meant. He explained, "You have a lot of ability. You could be a great one and maybe even become a national champion."